Coming up tonight, FIFA's president Gianni Infantino says the Cameroon leader Paul Biya will always be remembered for the quality of football infrastructure he has given to the youths. The two met at the Unity Palace this day. Football fans in Cameroon, in Africa and beyond are focusing their attention on Yaoundé, Douala, Limbe and Boya for the Chan Total tournament that kicks off in Yaoundé tomorrow. The details right now. Thanks for watching the 7:30 news on CRTV. I am Edwin Kinzeka in Yaoundé.
I have personally observed that most of our fellow citizens no longer comply with the protective measures prescribed by the government.
FIFA President Gianni Infantino has congratulated President Paul Biya for the quality of football infrastructure he has donated to the youth. President Biya granted the FIFA boss an audience today at the Unity Palace on the eve of the start of Chan Total. Details with Chief Unity Palace correspondent Ashu Nyente.
On the eve of the African Nations Football Championship, the Unity Palace this 15 January 2021 plays host to two eminent personalities of world football. The Supremo of world football governing body FIFA, Gianni Infantino, and the President pro tempore of the Confederation of African Football CAF, Constant Omari. After satisfying a more fortified anti-COVID-19 exigency, they are met in front of this imposing palace by the Chief of State Protocol, Simon Pierre Bikele, and the Minister Director of the Civil Cabinet, Samuel Mvondo Ayelo. At this point, the guests are fit to meet Cameroon's sovereign, Paul Biya.
Monsieur Gianni Infantino, président de la FIFA, accompagné du président de la CAF.
Monsieur le Président, Monsieur le Président, soyez le bienvenu. Merci beaucoup. Je peux passer.
This audience represents the diplomatic kickoff given by President Paul Biya for the competition that rumbles off on Saturday, January 16, a competition he wished for and did all to make it happen. For 45 minutes, the head of state, assisted here by the minister, deputy director of the civil cabinet, Oswald Babuke, and the bosses of football's powerhouses, sit through a wide range of issues with emphasis on the development of the sport and the Chan competition, which is imminent.
We were discussing about this with President Biya, about football development, more generally about the role that Cameroon has to play in not only African but world football, because Cameroon, for all football lovers in the world, is the essence of football, of dreams, of somebody coming from maybe a smaller footballing country becoming suddenly a big football country. This is the fairy tale of football that Cameroon has written in the past and that we want to write again in the future.
The FIFA president, also accompanied by Cameroon's local football icon, Samuel Eto'o, Fcfa president Sedum Bombo Joya, is short of words to thank President Paul Biya for the quality of football stadiums the country has given to the youth.
The infrastructure in Cameroon has made incredible steps forward. Today it is and it will be even more so next year with the organization of the African Cup of Nations, state of the art. It's important in a period of economic crisis, of a pandemic, to think about as well the youth, to think about the people, to think about what makes the hearts of people in Cameroon vibrate, and this is football. And therefore, to invest in football, to invest in football infrastructure, is extremely positive, and I thanked and congratulated President Biya for that. It is certainly visionary. It is for the future, for the youth, because our youth in Cameroon needs to believe in something, and they need to believe that it's not absolutely necessary to be leaving the country and even the continent when you are 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, but that you can stay here, you can develop here, you can become a professional here. And then, of course, if you become like Samuel Eto'o, you will go to Inter Milan or Real Madrid or Barcelona or the other big clubs, obviously.
In recognition of their role in the popularization of football, President Paul Biya makes this present of the legendary pipe to the officials who reciprocate with football souvenirs and memorabilia. And it is difficult to suppress the urge of taking a souvenir shot with the head of state.
Faire partie de l'équipe de la FIFA, de la sélection mondiale. C'est un transfert qui nous coûtera cher, mais ça c'est pas Messi, c'est bien. Numéro 9.
It is with lighter spirits that the football officials take leave of the Unity Palace to prepare for the first major international football tournament in 2021.
I'm joined now in the studio by the Chief Unity Palace correspondent, Dr. Ashu Nyente. Good evening, Ashu Nyente.
Good evening, Moki.
Now,
Thank you for having me.
The African Nations Championship will kick off tomorrow in Yaoundé. Will also be played in Douala and Limbe. We should be talking about the major achievements of Cameroon President Paul Biya.
Definitely, Moki, he who loves laughs best. In the organization of the Shan, President Paul Biya has had the last laugh. What have the naysayers not said about the competition? Many cast doubts on the ability of Cameroon to host this competition. But President Paul Biya, like Alexander the Great, has been going from conquest to conquest. He's a major organizer of victories. He was steadfast, methodic, to ensure that Cameroon hosts this competition after all. What has the president not done? Look at the road infrastructure in a city like Douala, the east and west entrances into the city of Douala. Look at the hospital infrastructure in Yaoundé, in Douala, in Limbe, in Boya. But above all, just take a look at the state of football infrastructure, the stadiums that have been built in this country, state of the art. And I'm not the one saying so, it is Gianni Infantino, the president of FIFA, who said that in his own words. What the president has done is exceptional. It is visionary, it is fabulous. Even in very difficult economic and health circumstances, President Paul Biya has still been able to pull this through. If Cameroon is able to host the Shan today, there is no doubt, Moki, the entire credit goes to the president of Cameroon, President Paul Biya. His commitment is unrivaled. The investments are simply mouth-watering. And what is most interesting is that he does all of this quietly, silently. You know, only empty vessels make the loudest noise. But for President Paul Biya, actions speak louder than words. Paul Biya has joined the French philosopher François-Marie Arouet, called Voltaire, who said, "When I speak, I act." Yes, because the president's word is neither nebulous, calamitous, nor is it idle. His talk is not pop-pop. It is not blah-blah, to use this popular expression. The president's word is golden. When he says, he does. And did I hear you say, Moki, that we have better sports infrastructure? Better is not good enough because the best is yet to come. The world will be marveled. They will be in awe when Cameroon will host the AFCON to take place next year. Already, football pundits are talking of Cameroon being capable of hosting a competition as big as the World Cup. This is because of the vision, the savoir-faire, and savoir-être of the leader of this country, President Paul Biya.
Ashu Nyente, from what you say and in your point of view, from what I gather, President Paul Biya is somebody Cameroonians can rely on to make things happen.
Moki, I tell you what, President Paul Biya is a blessing to this country. Cameroonians, we are lucky. We are made because we have Paul Biya, the helm of the statecraft. This president is our greatest marksman. He is our principal goal scorer. He has always taken us out of very difficult situations. First, because of his immense wisdom. Second, because of his aura and international clout. Those who meet President Paul Biya for the first time are out and bow in reverence, in respect for his profound knowledge and civility. The president of FIFA visited President Paul Biya today. You needed to have seen the pleasure of Gianni Infantino meeting President Paul Biya. I was at the Unity Palace. I saw things for myself, Moki. The president of FIFA gave President Biya a jersey as a memorabilia, as a symbolic transfer of President Paul Biya to the World FIFA football team. On that jersey was written number 9. And then Infantino insisted, this is not Messi, this is Biya. Do you know why he said that? Because Messi is considered as the greatest football player on earth. But Paul Biya is in a class of his own. He is one notch higher. He is without comparison. How many heads of state have that privilege? When you have a head of state with such stature, with such candor, such pedigree, and with such subtlety, what else can you be asking for, Moki? It is like you are in a ship facing a tempest tossed, and you get up and remember the name and the track record of the captain, and you go back to sleep, knowing that whatever happens, the captain will rudder the ship to safer shores. That is the case of Cameroon with President Paul Biya. Fellow citizens, do not be weary. The ship of Cameroon is in safe hands. Have confidence in the captain. His name is Paul Biya.
The Chief Unity Palace correspondent, Ashunyenti.
You're welcome.
Thanks for coming. Now, this communique on the extreme instructions of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Paul Biya, the Prime Minister, Head of Government, Chief Dr. Joseph John Gute, shall on Saturday, 16 January 2021, from 3:30 p.m. at the Omnisport Stadium in Yaoundé, preside over the opening ceremony of the African Nations Football Championship, the CHAN. Is signed the Director of Cabinet at the Prime Minister's Office, Balingeli Confiance Ebune. At the Douala side has been one of the major curiosities of CHAN. Hundreds of volunteers, committee members, and media organs have been struggling to obtain the pass to the different playgrounds. Rene Kache reports from Douala.
The combatant house, situated slightly on the edge of the administrative headquarters at Bonanja. This is where the Confederation of African Football (CAF) has set up its accreditation center for the Douala side. An influx of volunteers, members of the different commissions, as well as media men and women have all converged to scramble for the precious ticket called accreditation that gives access to the stadiums. The importance of this precious document could be clearly seen through the hustle and bustle amongst those who have come for it. Officials of CAF media team in charge of the exercise say accreditation will be given only to those who qualify, and that during the tournament, COVID-19 barrier measures will be strictly observed to avoid the propagation of the virus. Amongst those struggling to obtain accreditation are 400 journalists drawn from different parts of the world who will be covering the event.
Less than 24 hours to the launch of the African Nations Championship, hospitals in Cameroon are taking additional measures to stop the spread of the coronavirus. Alice Mbe visited some hospitals in the capital city. Her report.
At the military hospital in Yaoundé, medical equipments have been installed.
We have set up a special service for emergency cases, taking into consideration the COVID-19 pandemic. We have trained our personnel on quality services.
Meanwhile, at the Yaoundé Central Hospital, a special clean-up campaign has been carried out.
Here we have taken special note on sanitary conditions. We have a blood bank service. We equally have a VIP service and many other equipment ready to receive patients.
The Yaoundé Emergency Center believes they have the capacity to stand any case.
We got all the equipment to carry out COVID-19 tests if patients are brought here. We have reanimation equipment and even medicalized ambulances in case of any emergency.
Sanitary measures and final touches have also been assured at the level of the stadiums.
Hosts Cameroon will be aiming for a good start in the African Nations Championship when they open the tournament against Zimbabwe tomorrow. The Intermediate Lions are galvanized by fans and officials for a better performance. Mali vs Burkina Faso will be the second game in Yaoundé. We have details with Daniel Ekonde.
Cameroon under Martin Tungumpile are keen to see off a tightly contested showdown at the Amadou Ajo Stadium on Saturday. The opening game against Zimbabwe is a comeback of Ntungupile, who led the Intermediate Lions to their ever-best quarterfinals in Rwanda 4 years ago. 2018's disappointing group stage berth means the Lions, despite a draw and 2 defeats in the Pre-Chan tournament, are upbeat to tie this one down against Zimbabwe. Experienced are former Esperance of Tunis forward Yannick Njeng and 2017 AFCON winner Jacques Zoua. But Cameroon won't find it easy breaking Zimbabwe as the Warriors look set to start their 6th CHAN campaign on the front foot. They will be banking on their impressive form during the qualifiers, where they scored 10 goals in 4 qualifying games. The second tie pitting Mali and Burkina Faso will largely lean on the former. Off from a fantastic run in the Western Zone A qualifiers, the Eagles of Mali are aiming to put that form to a good use when they meet Burkina Faso at 8 p.m. at the Amadou Ahidjo Stadium.
CRTV has exclusive broadcast rights for CHAN, and Cameroon public broadcaster is not taking the opportunity for granted. Qualified men or manpower has been deployed to all towns that will be hosting the games. Beatrice Goum has the rest of that story.
Their loud laughter expressed their satisfaction. His serenity tells of a man who has everything under control. These CRTV radio and sports and entertainment officials have visited the different studios and watched the technicians do the sound quality testing.
Our signals are clear. We're doing the last minute testing to ensure that on D-Day we have no slight hitch whatsoever.
This time around, we have 2 fly cases that are also deployed for this competition, and all of them produce signals in high definition.
Cameroonians will be on page with the games on TV, via radio, or on the social engine, they say.
On a daily basis, you have CHAN News, CHAN Express. Those are programs we're bringing on. We have what we call a CHAN Scanner. A CHAN Scanner is what brings you the totality of what happened during the day.
We have the newscast in the morning, which is CHAN Matin. We have CHAN Express by 11 o'clock. We have the debrief of the day just immediately after the match.
CRTV's wish is to give a minute-by-minute coverage of the games on all CRTV platforms with high sound quality that will leave the audience wanting for more.
The Cameroon Radio Television is therefore set to give a maximum coverage of the African Nations Championship that begins tomorrow. The teaser was given yesterday during a live broadcast on all of its platforms named CHAN Show, under the watchful eyes of the Director General Charles Ndungu. Clarence Gray was there.
The effervescence that comes with hosting the 2020 African Nations Football Championship was evident last evening at the CRTV Production Center Mbalatou in Yaoundé. The special program CHAN Show was at the center of this colorful ceremony, co-presented by Diane Gassar and Romia Tresu. The media icons used 120 minutes to give a foretaste of what Cameroonians hope to live during the continental tournament. These under the supervision of CRTV's Director General Charles Ndungu. Present was CRTV's board chair, René Emmanuel Sadi, who lauded the presentation and encouraged the entire team to redouble their efforts for a perfect coverage of the continental show. Also present was the Minister of Sports and Physical Education, Professor Narcisse Mwelekombi, and a huge audience. The colorful event, filled with joy, creativity, and heartfelt moments, was animated by CRTV's orchestra.
The Minister of Communication, board chair of CRTV, expressed satisfaction on the professionalism of the public broadcaster in relation with the coverage of the CHAN Total that kicks off tomorrow. René Emmanuel Sadi was speaking at the end of the special program that was yesterday. We have details with Gilbert Ongene.
This TV program dubbed CHAN Show sets the pace for the kickoff of the 6th edition of the African Football Championship. It brought together men and women of timber and caliber concerned with different aspects of the football competition.
We have witnessed a great program tonight. CRTV is doing its best to put this competition in the limelight. I must salute this wonderful initiative from the management of CRTV.
The state of Cameroon, under the stewardship of President Paul Biya, Minister René Emmanuel Sadi maintains, has spared no effort to make sure that Cameroon be more than ready for this competition.
C'est bien. Le président de la République, son Excellence Paul Biya.
Behind all this is a man of vision, President Paul Biya. He has done his best to provide ultra-modern infrastructure fit to host the CHAN and other future competitions.
The stage is now set. Let the football show begin.
The Yaoundé City Council is setting up a fan zone for the African Nations Championship. 8 giant screens will also be placed at different parts of the city to enable the population to watch the games closer to their homes. Ebenezer Kanga has the rest of that story.
Intense work is going on the esplanade of the Yaoundé City Council to set up a fan zone for the CHAN Total 2021. The fan zone is being set up by the Yaoundé City Council. It will consist, among others, of a podium car from which artists will animate fans who choose to watch the games there. The governor of the Central Region, accompanied by the mayor of the city of Yaoundé, visited the site to appraise the work.
The fan zone, first of all, brings in our culture. Secondly, it has to portray the various countries which are participating. It has to bring in ambience for those who are not able to attend the live match at the Amadou Ahidjo Stadium.
Apart from the fan zone, the Yaoundé City Council is also setting up 8 giant screens in different parts of the capital city to enable the city's dwellers watch the games close to their homes. Moreover, the City Council has rid Yaoundé of garbage and embellished the capital with a fresh coat of paint on the streets.
A huge sensitization campaign on the respect of COVID-19 barrier measures during the period of CHAN Total has been organized in Yaoundé. The initiative is that of the Minister of Youth Affairs and Civic Education, Munira Fotso, and his colleague of sports. We have details with Victor Siga.
The Continental Football Bonanza CHAN kicks off tomorrow, and the goal is to keep it COVID-19 free. The sensitization campaign, baptized Civic and Patriotic CHAN Without COVID-19, was out to sound loud the need to strictly respect the coronavirus preventive measures.
Cameroon will live a very important moment, that's the CHAN. Considering the context, we need that young people mobilize themselves in a patriotic manner.
Touring some streets of the nation's capital, these youth of the mobile mass animation team displayed Cameroon's team spirit while distributing preventive gadgets to the population.
What we'll do is to deploy our mobile animation teams with the community mediators all over the quarters and villages.
For the opening match between host country Cameroon and Zimbabwe, one of the conditions to access the stadium will be the compulsory wearing of face mask.
Africa, yelele, Africa, yelele, Africa, yelele, we are champions. Africa, yelele, Africa,
I urge you once again to put on your face masks, to wash your hands regularly, and to consult a physician or any other health personnel if you notice any symptoms. This is the only way to save lives and to curb the spread of the virus.
One of the barrier measures to limit the spread of COVID-19 during the African Nations Championship is a mandatory wearing of the face mask. How will that be regulated in stadia across the country? Bodin Sama is at the Public Health Emergency Center with his guest, Dr. Ewa Sama. Hello, Bodwin. Good evening.
Good evening to you. When the African Nations Championship officially kicks off for tomorrow, Saturday, one of these outlined barrier measures, which happens to do with the wearing of a face mask in the different stadia, will strictly be respected. And how would that be respected in the different tribunes for the different stadiums where the matches will be played? We discussed that tonight with our guest, Dr. Ewa Sama. He is an epidemiologist. Good evening to you, Doctor.
Good evening, Baldwin.
The mandatory wearing of a face mask in the different stadia will officially begin tomorrow, Saturday, with the start of the African Nations Championship. Explain to us how would that be followed up?
For the African Championship, we'd like to tell to the public that the world will be watching us, will be watching Cameroon. And it is important to provide to the CAF official the evidence that the wearing of face masks as well as other barrier measures are respected during the matches.
Which means no spectator is allowed into the stadium without the wearing of a face mask?
Of course, no spectator is allowed in the stadium without the wearing of a face mask. And secondly, it is important that even during the match, people keep wearing their face mask, because we observe that some spectators they will wear the face mask when entering the stadium, and during the match they will stop observing that measure. So it is important we keep observing the measure during the match.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for all those details. Just to remind our viewers that from tomorrow, Saturday, on the 7:30 newscast, we will be reporting live from the nation's economic capital, Douala, and at times, too, from the seaside resort town of Olimbe in the southwest region throughout the African Nations Championship, where we'll be giving our viewers regular updates as concerns measures put in place to limit the spread of COVID-19 in Douala, Bipanda, Douala, Japoma, and equally in Group D in Limbe. Back to you.
Thanks very much, Baldwin Sama, and we're waiting for those feats when you get to Douala to the southwest region. Now, this news just coming in now. The Court of Arbitration for Sports has annulled the election of the current Fcfa Executive Bureau led by Sedu Mbonjoya. This comes after an appeal filed by the Olympic of Meganga against the decision of the Chamber of Arbitration and Conciliation of the National Olympic Committee on April 11, 2019. In the decision signed today by the Court of Arbitration for Sports, Fcfa, will have to pay damages worth some 10,000 Swiss francs. We shall be giving you details of this story in subsequent editions of our news. The special plan for the reconstruction of the Far North region has taken form. The draft outline of the program, ordered by President Paul Biya, was discussed at the interministerial meeting chaired by Prime Minister Joseph John Gutte. Christian Chatham reports that focus is on infrastructure destroyed by Boko Haram and economic development.
The special plan for the reconstruction and development of the Far North region, instructed by the head of state, is a move to rebuild damaged infrastructures and uplift the economy of the region. The draft development program presented during the interministerial meeting has 4 pillars. The first targets the reparation of damages caused by the Boko Haram sect, as well as the repeated floods in the region. The second pillar concerns the development of the economy of the region. The third pillar aims at improving the resilience of the population of the Far North to climate change. The execution of the first phase of the plan is expected to begin in 2021.
At this stage, we have roughly 150 billion already earmarked to do this important operation. And the sectors that are going to be of great importance for us are infrastructure, certainly. We need to finalize the roads because they are essential for the development of our country and this part of the country. Rural development, agriculture, rural development, fishery, as well as energy.
The special plan for the development of the Far North region will be executed within a period of 5 years and alongside regular projects of the investment budget.
Military honors have been given to the late Major General Yumba Jean-René in Yaoundé. The 81-year-old was posthumously awarded the Medal of the Cross of the Military Valor in Order of the Nation, Cameroon. Joe Chemontion Tuseke reports.
Coffin bearers, all soldiers, were solemn, uniform and dignifying, all in honor of Major General Yumba Jean-René. Trained at Sensi Military Academy in France in 1959, Major General Yumba Jean-René rendered selfless services for 57 years. He built the first ever flyover in Cameroon at Zamangwe, on the outskirts of Yaoundé, having trained as a road construction engineer from the Polytechnic Institute in Versailles, France. The late Major General Yumba Jean-René has led several construction projects of roads and bridges across Cameroon. The Minister of Defense and his close aides paid their last respect to the late soldier. His biography, presented by Major General Hector Marie Chemo, spoke volumes of his humility, hard work and respect for military ethics, which Major General Chemo described as a source of inspiration to the younger generation. The late Major General Yumba Jean-René, survived by his wife and unique son, will be laid to rest tomorrow in his birthplace, Konga, in Puma subdivision in the littoral region. May his soul rest in peace.
Before we leave you on the extreme instructions of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Paul Biya, the Prime Minister, Head of Government, Chief Dr. Joseph John Gute shall on Saturday, 16 January 2021 from 3:30 p.m. at the Omnisport Stadium in Yaoundé preside over the opening ceremony of the African Nations Football Championship, the CHAN. It is signed the Director of Cabinet, the Prime Minister's Office, Balingeli Confiance Ebune. That's where we end the 7:30 news on CRTV. The next news is coming up in 30 minutes with Ata Badino Ma. I am Edwin Kinzeka in Yaoundé. Thank you for watching.
Despite our efforts, COVID-19 plunged many families into mourning and seriously hampered the functioning of our economy and society.